Right. So in today's class we'll be seeing electric field. Now before I discuss electric field, I'll explain a little idea. So field is nothing but a mechanism which explains action at a distance. Force is what I've explained. Now I'll elaborate about it now. So your electric field is represented by symbol E bar like this. Now if you have a charge Q like this, let us say it is Q1. Now let us say this is your source charge. Now what it will do is it will have its electrical influence in the surrounding region everywhere. Okay, so from here to here, if it is some distance, some R1, something like this, now the influence, electrical influence will be more closer to the charge, and as you keep going away, electrical influence will be, as you keep going far away, it will be less. So here my point is, closer to the charge you will have more electrical influence, and farther away from the charge you will have lesser influence. Now if you bring some test charge, okay, if it is some test charge, okay, now whether you bring some +1 coulomb as test charge or whether you bring plus Q2 as test charge, it doesn't matter. Whether we bring this charge or not, there will be electrical influence because of this charge Q1. So which will indicate that, okay, there is some property of charge Q1 which does not depend upon whatever charge that you are bringing. Whether if you bring plus Q2 charge, still there is force. If you bring +1 coulomb charge, still there is force. But my point is, whether you bring these test charges or not, because of the source charge there will be electric field. So you will have electric field in the region. Now this electric field is because of this source charge. Now when you bring some test charge into the field of the source charge, this field will cause force on this test charge. Okay, your field will cause force. Now keeping this idea in mind, what is that I am going to do is, okay, I am going to indicate this field with help of field lines. Okay, your field lines will indicate field. Field lines will indicate field. So if you have, okay, field lines, for example, if you have field lines like this, in this case your electric field E bar is, if they are equally spaced lines like this, then your electric field E bar is uniform here. Okay, but if it is, say it is something like this curved here, now at this point you want field, draw a tangent. So if it is some point 1, electric field at this point will be tangential to it. If it is some point 2, electric field here is some E2 bar like this, electric field is some E3 bar like this. Like this, at different points you will have different fields. So from this, what I want you to understand is, okay, field lines will indicate field. This is indicating uniform field, this will indicate non-uniform field. But how field lines will be there, it depends upon field in that region. If it is constant, we will write it like this. If it is variable, we will write it like this. Okay, now this field will be caused by some source charge. Okay, what source charge is causing this field? How much is its magnitude? That we will try to calculate. So now your field lines will be like this. Okay, it depends. Okay, I want you to remember tangent to field line. Tangent to field line gives direction of field. So in region where there is no field, okay, you will be not at all writing this, not drawing this field lines. Okay, so field is caused by some source charge. Okay, how much is that? How to calculate that field? We will see now. So I will write that and I will explain. So first I will start explaining certain basic things. Now your force on a charge is given by Q times electric field E. This is your definition. Now from here your definition is E bar is equal to force by charge. Your electric force by charge. It is actually in fact limit of Q tends to 0 F bar by Q. This is your definition of field. Now how I will put it, how I will explain, I will tell you. So if you look at this F bar by Q, this F bar by Q is force per unit charge. Okay, per unit charge means divided by. Now if you make this as plus 1 coulomb, then your field is equivalent to force. Okay, right, getting my point? Unit will become Newton per coulomb. Okay, so observe carefully. We are defining your electric field as force per unit charge. If this charge is 1 coulomb, okay, if this charge is 1 coulomb, then this electric field is force by 1 coulomb. So it is nothing but your force on plus 1 coulomb charge. Okay, so this is the definition that scientists have given. So I am just defining it as such and explaining it. Okay, now indirectly final conclusion of story is electric field is a vector. It will have two things. One is magnitude. Second one is direction. Magnitude is, okay, and I forgot, I told you very clearly, it is defined at a point. Okay, the moment I talk of field, you should ask me a question, at which point? It is defined at a point. Okay, so now here your electric field is a vector. So any vector will have two things, one is magnitude and other is direction. So coming to magnitude part, at whichever point you want field, just simply place plus 1 coulomb charge, place plus 1 coulomb charge at that point and calculate force on plus 1 coulomb charge. Okay, right? So at whichever point you want the field, just simply place plus 1 coulomb charge and calculate the force on that plus 1 coulomb charge. To give the direction, okay, your direction of force on plus 1 coulomb charge is direction of field. Okay, so from this I hope you are clear. So it will not be much difficult to understand. Here, okay, your electric field is given as E bar is equal to F bar by Q. So now if I make this denominator as plus 1, then E bar is going to be F bar. So that is why your magnitude of electric field is, you just simply place plus 1 coulomb charge at that point and calculate force on plus 1 coulomb charge. In the end, attach unit as Newton per coulomb. Okay, instead of Newton, force is Newton, field unit is Newton per coulomb. And coming to the direction, just simply place plus 1 coulomb charge in the direction of force. Okay, so now with these basic ideas, I hope you have understood what is meant by field. Okay, so I am not putting it in big fancy terms, it's just a simple definition. Just simply take plus 1 coulomb charge and calculate force. How you are calculating it, in a similar way calculate the field. So now I'll erase this and start doing simple questions like this. So your unit is Newton per coulomb. Now right. So now next, what is that I am going to do is, let us say you have a point charge Q. Now at distance R, let us say there is a point P. Let us say its coordinates are x1, y1, z1. Its coordinates are x2, y2, z2. I told you how you will calculate field, means it is defined at a point. So according to that logic, just simply at whichever point field is asked, just simply place plus 1 coulomb charge. So if you are placing plus 1 coulomb charge here, what is the force means? It is K into Q into 1 by R square. Its direction is towards right, you can write it, or it is KQ by R square into, mathematically if you are writing, you will write it as R cap. R cap is a vector. If this is your R bar, R cap is a vector which will indicate the direction. Unit vector indicates direction. So you have the big vector and its unit vector is indicating direction. So now your vector R bar is x2 minus x1 I cap plus y2 minus y1 j cap plus z2 minus z1 k cap, and your R cap is R bar by mod R, that is equal to x2 minus x1 I cap plus y2 minus y1 j cap plus z2 minus z1 k cap whole divided by under root x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square plus z2 minus z1 whole square, like this. So this is your R cap. Okay, or you can write it as KQ by R cube into R bar. It is completely of your choice how you are going to write it. So this is your field because of that positive charge at that particular point. Okay, now if you have a negative charge minus Q at some distance R like this. Now once again, okay, I don't need to give coordinates. If coordinates are given, you can do this. So your electric field at this point is, I told you in vectors negative sign is taken care in the direction. So here I don't need to write a minus sign. It is just simply KQ by R square into minus R cap, or it is KQ by R cube into minus R bar. Okay, so your R bar starting point is this, final point is that. If you know vectors, you will be able to give the position vector properly. Okay, so this is how you define field. Now your next idea is, okay, this is how you calculate field because of point charges. If it is a positive charge, you will do it this way. If it is a negative charge, you will do it this way. Now here remember, you are not going to get Q square, you are only going to get Q. And remember, field at a point, I have written a subscript here at that which point, at that particular point I am writing. Okay, field you need definitely subscript. Subscript is must for field. Okay, so in the end just simply add unit as Newton per coulomb, because Newton per coulomb is the unit. Okay, next idea is, now your next idea is principle of superposition of fields. Now in principle of superposition of fields, okay, how you are doing for force, you will also do the same for field. Your resultant electric field is vector sum of field because of first charge plus second charge plus third charge plus fourth charge plus so on, like this. Okay, so how you are giving force, resultant force, in a similar way you can give it for fields. Now through examples I will discuss it. So let us say you have a charge plus q here, one more charge plus q here, and another charge plus q here. Let us say they are sides of equilateral triangle of side A, like this. Now at the centroid, let us say I am asking you the field. Now at this point O, if I am asking you the field, okay, let us say my question is find electric field at O. Let us say that is your question. Now if EO is your electric field at O, what happens is, now if I define an axis, okay, through O, because I want field at O I will place plus 1 coulomb charge. Now you have your equilateral triangle like this. Now because of this charge plus q, that is charge 1, and here you have one more plus q, let us say it is second charge, this is plus q, this is your third charge. Now you want this distance first, because if this total value is a, this part is a by 2, this angle is 30 degrees because this is your equilateral triangle. So now total is 60, this part will be 30 degrees. Now if you want this distance r, cos 30 if you do, you are going to get cos 30 is root 3 by 2, which is equal to sin 60. So root 3 by 2 is equal to adjacent side by hypotenuse is r. So 2 will go off, you will get r equal to a by root 3 here. So now this distance is r, this distance is r, like this. Now observe very carefully. Now your field because of first charge is E1 is equal to kq by r square, it is downwards. Now if this is 30, this angle is 60 degrees, this angle is 60 degrees. Now at this point your field because of second charge, this is your E2, that is also equal to kq by r square. Now if this angle is 60, this will become 60 degrees. Okay, next take one more, because of this third charge your field will be like this E3, it is also 60 degrees, forming angle of 60 degrees with vertical. This is also your, its value is kq by r square. Now your E1 is, okay, kq by r square, and it is also downwards like this. So in the end, now totally you have three vectors of equal magnitudes like this. One is E1 downwards, E2 this way, E3 this way. This angle is 120, this angle is 120, this angle is 120 degrees. Now here all angles are equal. So if you add vector sum writing in terms of I cap and j cap, you will get resultant electric field equal to 0 here. If you are adding vectorially writing in terms of I cap and j cap, assume this as your x axis, this as your y axis, and write each vector in terms of I cap and j cap and do it. Or if you know Lami's theorem, okay, because all these three forces are of equal magnitude making an angle of 120 degrees, from Lami's theorem also you can directly say that, okay, all these three are equal, so this point is in equilibrium, your resultant electric field is 0 here. Okay, so you can do any of this thing, it is purely of your choice. Okay, so for an equilateral triangle consisting of three charges, this is how you are supposed to calculate the field. Okay, if you have idea about Lami's theorem, directly do it, else resolve it into components, or else write each vector in terms of I cap and j cap and then do it. If you do not know how to write a vector in terms of I cap and j cap, refer to my writing in terms of I cap and j cap video. Resolution of vectors is the video clip. It is already loaded onto the channel. Next, your next question is, let us say you have plus q charge, minus q charge, and one more plus q charge here, and let us say this distance is 8d, this is 6d, there is a point P here, find electric field at P, that is your question, find EP bar. Try it for a minute, give the complete answer. So at whichever point you want field, place plus 1 coulomb charge, calculate resultant force on it. Now, how you will simplify is, if this is your first charge, second charge, third charge, let us say this is your axis, x and y. Now your electric field is repulsion, because of first one it is E equal to k times q times, this distance is 8d, so because it is a rectangle, so kq by 8d whole square, that will give you kq by 64d square. Next, negative charge will attract from here to here, the distance is 10d, this angle is, if you are taking this angle, this is 37 degrees, because cos theta is adjacent side by this one, so cos, I think it is not 6, it is 53 degrees, sin 53 is 8 by 10, so it is 53 degrees, so your second electric field E2 is k times, you should not keep minus sign, it is kq by 10d whole square, making an angle of 53, and this charge will repel it, so your E3 is k times, it is q by, how much is the distance means, it is 60 whole square, that is, it is kq by 64d square. Now finally the conclusion is, you have three vectors, first vector is this way, how much means, it is kq by 64d square. Your third vector is E3 is equal to kq by 64d square. Your E2 is kq by 100d square, making an angle of 53 degrees. So I will write each vector in terms of I cap and j cap. Of course bar is must here. So your E1 bar is, your electric field E1 bar from this is kq by 64d square I cap plus 0 j cap. E2 bar is minus kq by 100d square sin 53 I cap plus minus kq by 100d square cos 53 j cap. and your E3 bar is 0 I cap plus KQ by 64 D square J cap. So you can add and write in terms of I cap and J cap and then give the magnitude. So finally your magnitude is under root x component square plus y component square.
6d square 64 36.
Oh sorry, it is not 64, it is 36. Okay, so sorry, 36 E3 sorry, E1 is correct, E3 yeah, it is not 64, it is 36. Okay, right. So this is how you are going to write your vectors in terms of I cap and J cap. Your previous arithmetic geometric progression sigma of n square, sigma of n cube, in series whatever terms you get, arithmetic progression, geometric progression, all those results you can do it once again. They will keep +1 -1 coulomb charge on the axis and then they will ask you to simplify. Next we will be seeing motion of charged particle in uniform electric field. So let me do that part. Now you will have simple questions on electric field. Now you know how to calculate field. So your force is charge into field. Now let us say you have a small bob like this, its mass is m, charge is q. Let us say it is in gravity free space and you are subjecting electric field E like this. Now if he is asking calculate time period, your question is calculate time period of pendulum here. Now how will you solve this question? Okay. So if you have uniform electric field E subjected like this, then what happens is in questions related to SHM, okay, your time period is T is equal to 2 pi into under root L by G effective. If you have any doubts, refer to my SHM video. Your G effective is your tension in the string by mass. Okay. Now if it is gravity is considered, then you have to consider gravity also. If nothing is mentioned, for now we'll just simply consider gravity. What is there? Now in this case, okay, you want time period. If this length is L, your answer is 2 pi into under root L by G effective. Now your question is what is this G effective means? Okay, this T is time period. I write TP is equal to 2 pi into under root L by G effective. Your G effective is tension in the string by mass. Now here what is the tension means? If you take your equilibrium, when the ball is in equilibrium, your T will be this way, QE will be this way, gravitational force mg will be acting downwards like this. So in this case, when the ball is in equilibrium, your net force is 0. In such a case, you will get T plus QE minus mg is equal to 0. Your T is mg minus QE. Your G effective is T by m. Substitute it back into this equation, that will give you the required answer. Okay. And one more question he could give you, field could be acting downwards. So if it is acting downwards, instead of having mg minus QE, you will get mg plus QE. Setup is same, simplification is same. Okay, right? Hope you have understood. If you have watched my SHM videos, then you will be able to follow this. So all the chapters are interlinked to each other. Next, try. There is a truck like this. No, I will not complicate it yet. Next is, you have a bob like this, mass M, charge Q, length L. Now you are giving horizontal electric field E like this. Question is, calculate time period. In this case, try it. Try this question. You have a bob hanging from the ceiling like this. You are supposed to give time period of that pendulum which is hanging. You are giving horizontal electric field. So for your time period, what is the formula? Means your time period is given by 2 pi into under root L by G effective. So your G effective is tension by mass. So indirectly you are supposed to calculate tension in this scenario. So how will you calculate tension? Calculating tension, if you do it correctly, you will get the answer. Now if you look into this figure, after slight oscillation it comes to this point like this. Now your tension T will start acting this way, gravitational force mg will be acting this way. It will obviously tilt. This is your angle, this is your T, this angle is theta. I am trying to calculate tension first and then I will calculate time period. Now your electric field will be F equal to Q into E. It will be acting in this direction. So now this bob is in equilibrium because of three forces. One is T, other is electric force, and next one is gravitational force. So in this case, in the vertical direction, if I resolve this T into components, this side you will have T cos theta component, this side you will have T sin theta component. So I will write it here. Your T cos theta is equal to mg. Your T sin theta is equal to QE. Now you want T. So if you square on both sides and add it, T square cos square theta plus T square sin square theta is equal to m square g square plus q square into e square like this. So that will give you T square times 1 is equal to m square g square plus q square into e square. Now from here your tension is under root m square, okay, T by m I will calculate. So I am going to get under root g square e square plus q square e square by m square. Okay, so this is your final value of G effective. Now once you get the G effective, this T is tension. So your time period Tp is equal to 2 pi into under root L by G effective. Substitute this G effective into this expression, you will get the required time period. So like this, lot of questions can be asked related to linking to various other chapters. He can put a charge and he can subject, so friction could be balancing the electric force, viscous force in terms of liquids. Lot of things can be asked directly or indirectly in this manner. So basic questions and all, I think you will be able to do it. Next, Next is, let us say you have a charged particle. Now what happens to positive and negative charge in uniform electric field, I will tell you. So next heading is motion of charged particle in uniform electric field. Your motion of charged particle in uniform electric field. So your uniform electric field, how it will be is, your electric field is represented by E bar like this. Now it is uniform electric field. Uniform electric field is indicated by equally spaced straight lines like this. Now in this case, if you are trying to calculate electric field, what happens is, first you are supposed to know force. So if I have a plus Q charge, your force F bar is, if electric field is E, your force on positive charge is plus QE, direction is towards right because it is a vector. Now similarly, if you have a negative charge minus Q, your force on negative charge is Q into E, its direction is left. Okay, do not keep minus Q into E, already this negative sign is taken care in the direction. Okay, do not keep negative sign. On positive charge, your force direction is same as that of field. On negative charge, your force direction is opposite to that of field. Okay, now here your acceleration is nothing but force by mass. So QE by m, here it is also QE by m is the acceleration even in this case. Okay, so now based on this, we can link the questions to straight line motion. So in the first straight line motion and projectile motion, I can relate this to that. How means, I can subject this electric field onto a charged particle like this, give some initial velocity V0 and calculate how much distance and all kinematics equations can be used. So based on that, I'll give an example, then you will be able to follow it. So now hope you have copied this part. If you did not copy, play back the video and then copy once again. So now your question is, what is your application? I will tell you. You have uniform electric field E. Okay, now you have released a negative charge minus Q. Okay, and you have subjected it to some velocity V0. Okay, so you have a negative charge, you have subjected it, you have given some uniform electric field E like this. What is the question is, find stopping time, stopping distance, time to reach initial position. This is your question. Now, if you have understood the question properly, obviously this idea must strike to your mind. What is that idea? I will tell you. If you have a block placed on a floor giving some initial velocity V0 and acceleration is in opposite direction. Now if it is uniform, what will you do? You will apply V bar is equal to U bar plus A bar into T if acceleration is constant, and S bar is equal to U bar into T plus half A bar into T square, and V square minus U square equal to 2 times A bar dot S bar. Okay, with vectors, with sign convention you will apply it. Okay, in mechanics. Now exactly a similar situation here. Now if these are the questions, if your acceleration, if you look at it, your acceleration is QE by m, it is towards left. Your electric force is Q into A, your mass is m, so your acceleration is QE by m. So you have a negatively charged particle whose initial velocity is V0 this way and acceleration is QE by m in the opposite direction. So your stopping time, if I calculate, V bar is equal to u bar plus a bar into t. When it stops, velocity is 0. U bar is plus v naught because it is initially towards right, plus acceleration is minus qe by m because it is towards left times t stop. So your stopping time is m v naught by q into e. Okay. Next, to calculate stopping distance, I can apply s equal to ut plus half at square. I can do it as s equal to ut plus half at square. Stopping distance, some plus d stop I will write. U bar is plus v naught into time to stop plus half into acceleration minus qe by m into t square and all. I will apply everything and then simplify and then do it. Okay. This can be done, or else what else can be done here is you can directly simply write v square minus u square equal to minus 2as because your displacement is towards right. Your dot product angle between the acceleration vector and displacement vector is 180 degrees, because if it stops somewhere here, your displacement vector s bar is this way, your acceleration vector is this way, because they are opposite, it is minus 2as. So directly when it stops, v is 0, minus v naught square is equal to minus 2 times your acceleration, how much it is, means it is qe by m into your displacement s. So from here your displacement is m v naught square by 2 qe. Okay. So this is your stopping distance. Okay. So like this you can keep calculating whatever unknown value is asked, you can keep calculating like this. Okay. And time to reach initial position means your third bit s bar is equal to u bar into t plus half a bar into t square. Now here after it stops, your acceleration will keep further acting backwards. So your by the time it comes to your initial point, your displacement is 0. It is v naught times t dash plus half into acceleration is minus qe by m into t dash square. So from here calculate the value of t dash, you will get the answer automatically. Okay. So like this you can keep calculating different answers based on the kinematics equations. Class unna?
2 o'clock.
A subject?
Physics.
A chapter?
E chapter.
Em chapter?
Coulomb's law.
You will wait or you leave?
I will go.
Half an hour is. Half an hour undi. 5 minutes mundu వదిలేస్తే చాలు. Right. Next. Your next question is related to projectile motion. Same thing, you will have similar ideas and similar approach. So let me explain projectile motion first and then I will come back to actual question. Now in projectile motion, when you are throwing a body, if you have watched my previous videos, if this angle is theta and okay, if this is theta like this, now here in x direction what will you write for projectile motion? Vx is equal to ux plus ax into t. Displacement along x direction is ux into t plus half ax into t square. In y direction for projectile motion you will write vy is equal to uy plus ay into t. Displacement along y direction is uy into t plus half ay into t square. In this you will follow the sign convention like this: up or right positive, down or left you will take negative sign, and if acceleration is constant, these are the equations that you will apply, and your sx is displacement along x direction is change in x coordinate, displacement along y direction is change in y coordinate like this. So these are the equations that we are going to use in projectile motion. Now how this is related to projectile motion, I will tell you. Now for example, let us say instead of giving this scenario, let us say I have given you a different scenario like this. Now let us say you have a negatively charged plate on the top and positively charged plate. No, wait. First we will do it with a situation similar to projectile from ground. So let us say you have, it is positive here, no, negative on the bottom, positive on the top. Okay. Now let us say you are throwing a charged particle, mass m, charge q. It is gravity free space. Okay, that means there is no gravitational force. Gravity free space. You have projected it with some angle theta like this. Now what happens, I will tell you. Now here your electric field, let us say it is given in the question as E. Okay. Now if you look at this figure, this situation is similar to projectile motion from ground. In projectile motion from ground, what happens is, when you throw a body with some initial velocity u making an angle theta, you will use those equations, the body falls down. Why it is falling down means everywhere your acceleration due to gravity is g, downwards, it will pull the body downwards like this. This we have seen in projectile motion. Now here without gravity, what happens is, you have electric force which is QE and your acceleration is QE by m, it is always downwards, it is in QE by m, it is in downward direction like this. Now in this case, like how we have found out time of ascent, maximum height, range, time of flight and all, here also you are supposed to find out all those. Okay, your time of ascent, your question is like this: find time of ascent, time of flight, time of descent, range, maximum height, all those parameters depending upon whatever is asked, you have to do it. Now in this scenario, okay, your G's equivalent term is how much means, your G's equivalent term is QE by m, okay, because your force is always downwards. So your effective G in this case is, instead of gravity you have QE by m. Okay, this is a positively charged particle. If it is negatively charged particle, electric field will be upwards like that, but your G effective is QE by m. So applying those equations, okay, directly I can give answer as u sin theta by G effective. Okay, for you can derive it if you want. Okay, time of ascent is u sin theta by G effective. Similar equations, only thing is your G effective is how much means Q by m. Here time of flight you are going to write it as 2u sin theta by G. Here it is 2u sin theta by G effective. Time of descent and time of ascent both are same. And your range is u square sin 2 theta by G effective. Your H max is u square sin square theta by 2G. That you can do. Or else if you are not comfortable with that part, then nothing I can do. I have to follow sign convention and then do it. Okay. So applying sign convention, I will do it. Observe carefully. So first, if I calculate different values, your ux is, if it is being thrown with some initial velocity v naught, your ux is v naught cos theta. Okay, this it's x component here. Okay, your uy is v naught sin theta. There is no force in the horizontal direction, so ax is 0, ay is minus qe by m because it is in downward direction. So with these values, I will try to calculate your values. Okay, your first value is your time of ascent. So for time of ascent, okay, what happens I will tell you. So when the body is going like this, okay, if this is your Vx, at highest point your velocity along y direction will be 0. So applying that logic, Vy is equal to Uy plus Ay into t. At highest point your velocity along y direction is 0. So 0 is equal to Uy is plus V naught sin theta because it is upwards, plus Ay is minus Qe by m into t. So that will give you t is equal to mv naught sin theta by Qe. This is your time of ascent. Next, to calculate, okay, maximum height, okay, for maximum height your time is time of ascent. So apply this to Sy equal to Uy into t plus half Ay into t square. All the values are known. So substitute this time of ascent into this equation. For time of flight, your Sx equal to your x component is 0. Sx is 0. Sx is equal to ux into t plus half ax into t square. Watch my projectile motion videos derivations. Okay. And if you want range is, sorry, Sy is 0, not Sx. Sy is 0. So it is Uy into Ay. For range, t is equal to time of flight. Sx is equal to ux into t plus half ax into t square. Substitute those values and get the answers. Okay. Like this you can derive the different results for projectile motion. Okay. So all these are indirectly related to mechanics part, but only thing is instead of acceleration you have to write electric force by mass. Okay. Now there will be questions in medium. So if there is viscous force apart from electric force, for viscous force in medium you substitute 6 pi nRV. For buoyant force you substitute volume displaced into rho of liquid into g. So he could place the charge in some liquid and all, and then ask you different questions. So all these questions you do it, and based on this whatever is required you do it. Okay. So with this basic idea your electric field because of point charges is done. Now next we will see potential in the next class. Then after seeing potential for point charges like this, then we will continue to field and potential because of continuous charge distributions. Okay. So that is the most important part. Okay. But before that you must know all these things. Okay. Right. So with this we will stop today's class.